Hey, what's going on? Outdoors with Kevin here. We're going to talk about a very serious topic, which is gun safety. Now, I am no way, shape, or form a gun expert. I like guns. I think they're cool. As long as you're being safe, you got to be safe, right? So rule number one, a gun is always loaded. So kind of I don't want to say a game because that's messed up when I'm talking about gun safety, but something I say with my dad every single time is, oh yeah, hey, it's not loaded, just to see if he's going to go, oh, okay. No, every time somebody hands you a gun, you always check it, safety, 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 okay? So here, Dad, the gun's not loaded, and he looks at me like, yeah, right, what, you think I'm not gonna check? What? I've only been teaching you for like 40 years to make sure you're safe, right? Remove the magazine. There's usually going to be a button somewhere on, below, or near the trigger, okay? And remove the magazine, not a clip. Don't call it a clip because it's a magazine, okay? And then I'm going to pull back my slide and look inside, okay? I'm always pointing this in a clear direction. I'm in the middle of the woods by myself, nobody around, my camera's on a tripod, nobody's holding it, so I'm good to go. So I'm gonna look down, I'm gonna check, rack it a couple times, make sure it looks good. Yes, there's no bullet in the battery ready to go. There's no way this is gonna fire. So we always check that it's safe. So somebody gives you a gun, first thing you do, well, make sure you know what you're doing and say, hey, show me how to remove the magazine and how to check it, okay? So push your button, remove the magazine, check it to make sure there's nothing in there. So now when I say to check to make sure there's nothing in there, let's look in here. So the bullet, actually, you'd see the end of the bullet, okay? So the end, you'd see this part, the brass, you'd see this end of the bullet inside here, right? So you look in there and think, nope, all I see is the barrel. I see a hole, right? Okay, so that's really important to understand how to check to see if it's loaded or not loaded. And again, I hate to say I'd play a game with my dad and say, hey, it's not loaded. And by the way, don't hand people a loaded gun, okay? Not a cool thing. So we talked about that. A gun is always loaded no matter what. No matter if you checked and didn't check, that's when people hurt themselves, when they're cleaning their guns, when they thought they checked, but they didn't check. So I'm gonna double check again to make sure I didn't lose my mind and rack something in there, okay? So it's totally clear. So is the gun loaded? That's important. Second thing is never point the barrel, the muzzle, the end of the gun where it goes bang, never point that at anything you're not intending to shoot or kill, all right? So you never point this thing at anybody no matter what, right? This is not a game, it is very serious, all right? So always keeping it pointed down or keep it pointed up. But the key is to not have it like this and moving it around side to side where other people are. Again, I'm in the middle of the woods, not a soul in sight, very safe, controlled conditions, all right? So if you're teaching people to shoot, it's really, really important that you teach them, keep it down, keep it up, put it on the table, point it away from everybody. It's not a joke, right? Not a joke. Okay, be very safe in where you point this thing, all right? And pretty simple other than that is make sure you have good trigger control, meaning when I'm just standing here holding my firearm, look where my finger is. It's not here, it's here, okay? So really important to get control and never put your finger on the trigger until you're downrange, meaning you're at your target and you're ready to actually start firing, is then you can move your finger towards the trigger, okay? But other than that, it's up here, okay? Or on the side, depending how size of your gun, right? Whatever feels comfortable to you. But the key is to not have my finger on the trigger. Now, never give someone a gun that they can't handle as far as with ricochet, or recoil, that's what I'm looking for, recoil. So giving somebody who doesn't have the frame or the strength to hold that gun up and pull the trigger and handle the recoil, man, that's not cool. That's your bad. Don't do that, right? Get in something small. Start small with that 22, move to 9mm, and then you can work your way up, right? Or 223 or something. So start really small, work your way up to the bigger guns. Don't give them the 12 gauge with a 3-inch slug. You're an idiot. Don't do that. Yes, don't do that, okay? So we talked about a gun is always loaded, no matter what, okay? Learn how to remove the magazine, learn how to rack the slide, check inside to make sure there's no bullet inside there ready to go. I load my magazine, okay? So the thing is, you got to understand with these semi-automatic pistols, semi-auto, right, is if I rack this slide and now there's a bullet in there ready to go bang, and if I remove the magazine, this gun will still fire. It will still fire, bang. So if there's one loaded in there, you pull the trigger, it'll go off without the magazine in there, okay? Because I already loaded one, right? Check, clear, add my magazine, push it in hard. Now, when I'm ready to start firing, now I have my targets ready to go. I have everybody safe around me, okay? Now, something I like to do when I'm training someone, so if I had a second person here, my child, my wife, somebody else here, I'm gonna stand always, hands are always gonna be clear so I can guide them. So if they're standing there and they shoot, boom, and then they turn like this towards me, I'm gonna be there to brace their back and their arms to be like, whoa, pointing towards the ground, pointing towards the sky, put it on the table, right? So it's really important that the second person that's maybe teaching, that they're always ready to protect themselves and make sure that there's no errors, right? Our main goal is that everybody has a good time. Safety, 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 all right? Very, very important. So I think it's real important that the gun community is proactive on teaching and not making people feel stupid. I want you to think about this. Remember when you were young and you were learning and you made an error? I bet we all have. I bet we've all dropped a firearm. I bet we've all swung it around near somebody's and grazed their family member or something. So we want to have safety first, and the more educational videos that we can have out there on the internet of people just being smart, people being safe, is going to make the whole community safer and people around you safer, right? So we're going to do some shots and have a little bit of fun, and we're going to be safe doing it. So I appreciate you stopping by. Like, share, subscribe. Appreciate you guys. Hearing protection, very important. Before I start firing, always know what you're shooting at, okay? So what kind of backstop do you have? So if my bullet goes through the target, whatever I'm shooting at, what's behind it? And I'm out here in the woods at kind of a target shooting area that I'm shooting into a target, but it's on a big hill, right? So if my bullet were to miss the target or go through the target completely, it's gonna end up going into the mountainside in the middle of the woods. I got a bunch of trees as backstops as well. There's nothing behind here, very safe. Always be safe, all right? Eye protection, crazy ricochet stuff, where you hit your target, something breaks off the target and flies back. You hit some kind of stone or rock. Having eye protection and hearing protection, really, really important. So be safe, be safe. A gun's always loaded, don't forget. Safety, safety, safety. Thanks for stopping by, guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Lastly, guys, pick up after yourself. Don't ruin it for other people. So you go out to these areas where you do some target practice, shooting a bunch of rounds. People just bring their garbage and shoot it. I get it, it's fun to shoot a TV or whatnot, but then you just leave it out here, right? So eventually they start closing all these great places and these great areas that we can go and enjoy because you wanted to shoot cool stuff. Shoot the cool stuff, but throw it back in the truck and haul it out of here, man. You're just leaving a big mess for everybody to clean up. So give me a like for that one right there. That's important, guys. Don't make a crazy mess. Be safe. Gun's always loaded. Don't put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to pull and shoot. Pay attention to where that muzzle is. Never point it at anything. Keep it always pointed down, pointed up, never side to side, right? And when you're shooting, a tip is you kind of have to hold your breath for just that split second. So as you're aiming, you hold your breath. Right when you're ready to pull the trigger, I hold my breath. I inhale, hold, pull. Inhale, hold, pull. Right? That's kind of how I learned how to do it, and it tries to keep it as steady as possible. So again, I'm not a professional shooter. I'm just a recreational guy. I like guns. I think they're fun as long as you're safe. Be safe, 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 and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.